if you look at Great Britain, they have their best runner, most experienced runner on that back stretch. Dina Asher-Smith is always, slotted there, and I expect no different this time around, that she will be slotted on that back stretch. So we have to put somebody that is equally competent and has, of course, experience on that back stretch. If we look at Ivory Coast, that is also where Marie-Jose Talou is slotted, and she has currently run 10.75. Jamaica cannot put a 11-second runner, I don't care what anybody wants to say, on that second leg and hope that they're going to challenge. Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Now, it's been a while since I've seen you all, or I should say since you all have seen me, since I'm the one that's on the other side of the camera. With that said, holiday done. It's done now, trackies. So it's time to do our official countdown to Budapest, to get ready for banging videos back to back about what is to come in Budapest and what we can look forward to, of course, from a Jamaican perspective. And yes, clearly we're going to be talking about our challengers. And yeah, for all you non-Jamaicans, don't get mad. This is warrior time, and yeah, it's crunch time, and we're trying to see, how many medals Jamaica can grab. Now, with that said, I'm kicking things off with the women's 4x100m relay. Now, when we look at last year, of course, clearly, on the back of having an athlete that was running 10.62 for that season, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, and of course, we had, Shericka Jackson at 10.71, Elaine Thompson-Hira at 10.7. 9, and of course we had Kemba Nelson at 10.88, averaging roughly 10.75. We were expected to land gold at the World Championships. Well, it didn't happen. America was then with a team that was averaging 10.87. So think about it. We were averaging 10.75, and they walked in with a team that was averaging 10.87, and literally Niam with food. Niam with food. So with that said, clearly I've been making a big deal out of the release and getting some practice, something that I've been talking about, clearly, again, getting practice. But I noticed something recently. I was watching our juniors at the Pan Am under 20 championships, and for the most part I don't let their performances bother me. I did see the performances in the relay, saw a few messy changes, as well as technical issues which got our male team disqualified. However, even though, I don't really hold, them accountable, considering that some of the athletes that are used are not, typical 100-meter athletes, and don't really have the opportunity to run much in the 4x100-meter relay. So yeah, I'm not really holding that much against them, but I started to think, what? We're seeing a few new faces, to the 4x100-meter relay. So if this is what is happening on the junior level, and the juniors run relays more than the seniors do, what's gonna happen with our seniors? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of getting this foreboding feeling. So I'm praying to God, that they do get some practice in before the championships. I've been seeing the Americans; they've gone to their training camp already. Worked out whatever needs to be worked out. So we'll be seeing the results of that, come the World Championships. I've been hearing though, and this is all alleged. So I've been hearing though that the administration, J3As, is trying to set up a camp 9th through the 15th of this month, and hopefully the coaches of each individual athlete that's participating agree to the training camp, and our athletes could potentially get some training in, or some practicing. So I'm hoping, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the girls will get a chance to work together, to see what can happen this year, because again, our team was so dominant last year and we still never win. So the team is not so fast this season, so we're hoping that we can make up room by obviously having practice in. So when we look at the teams, I'm looking at 3 major teams right now to challenge for the 3 medals, gold, silver and bronze, at the World Championships for the women. However, I do have an outside shot medalist, potential medalist, and this is I'm going to talk about that team a little later on. But the teams that I'm looking at so far is the United States, clearly, Jamaica, clearly, and of course Great Britain. That's been pretty much the top 3 for a few years now, so that's still my top 3. I'm also looking at an outside shot of Cote d'Ivoire. If any one of the big teams, mess up, as it does happen in the relays, then, it looks like they can possibly sneak in to maybe clinch a medal. You never know, right? So everybody has to be on their P's and Q's, especially when it comes to, the relays. So let's take a look at Jamaica. What does Jamaica have to offer this season? Well, we have 10, Shelly-Ann Fraser Price at 10.82 so far. Now, this is likely to change, in my opinion, leading into the World Championship final, where we see, what the women really have to offer. So I'm expecting to see her go much faster there. So, the average of our team will likely change. But for now, it's 10.82 to Shelly. Then we have Sherika 10.65. Then we have Cecily Forbes 10.96. And, of course, we have Natasha Morrison 10.98, averaging this time around 10.85. So clearly much slower than we were last season, where we actually did lose. So clearly, we're up against it this season. If we're going, based off what the figures that are showing right now, face value, if we're going off that, then yes, it's going to be much more challenging for us this year to stave off USA, considering that we had such a powerhouse team last year and we were not able to stave them off. Now, lead the next team, of course, the United States. They come in with sha'carri Richardson 10.71, Gabby Thomas 11.08, Brittany Brown 10.90, Tamari Davis 10.89, and this roughly averages 10.90. No, I'm not sure if this is the 4 that they'll be using. I'm assuming that this is the 4 that they'll be using in the finals. Right, so with that said, the average again is 10.9, not that far off from what Jamaica is doing, in terms of averaging, right? And again, that is face value with 100-meter flat speed. We're not considering, relay splits right now. Now, when we take a look at now Great Britain, they also come in with a really, really good team. We're talking about Dina Asher-Smith, again, looking really good this season. She's so far down to 10.85. Then we have Daryl Nita. This isn't the Daryl Nita of yesteryear that was run down by Elaine in 2017 and then run down by Shelly in 2019. This is a new Daryl Nita. Daryl Nita at her best, running 10.96 this season. And we also have Amani Lonsicut also having a great season herself, down to 11.01 so far this season. I'm not sure who their 4th athlete is, so I'm roughly averaging them maybe around 11 seconds if we throw in, a 4th person that's not necessarily, getting close to those times that the athletes have run so far. But anyway, that's still a competent time to challenge for a medal. And then, of course, we have, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, depending on Talou. That one solid athlete hopefully can bring that baton around or give them, some room to hopefully, challenge for a medal. And of course, she's down to, 10.75 so far this season. So let's see what Cote d'Ivoire can do. Now, how does Jamaica win this gold medal? Clearly, I've been saying from, the get-go that how I would structure my team is always having Shelly-Ann Fraser Price on the backstretch. We see it with most teams where if you look at Great Britain, they have their best runner, most experienced runner on that backstretch. Dina Asher-Smith is always, slotted there, and I expect no different this time around that she will be slotted on that backstretch. So we have to put somebody that is equally competent and has, of course, experience on that backstretch. If we look at Ivory Coast, that is also where Marie-Jose Talou is slotted, and she has currently run 10.75. Jamaica cannot put a 11-second runner, I don't care what anybody wants to say, on that second leg and hope that they're going to challenge against, what the Ivory Coast will be doing, or Great Britain. Now, America, they have this kind of warrior spirit, even when the athletes, do not have, the best flat speed. They're able to do something ridiculous, when they get into the relay. So I'm expecting whoever they slot on that back stretch to also, run a very competent leg. So when I look, at the team, I would probably roughly say maybe Gabby. I probably put Gabby on the backstretch. Why? Because I've seen her on the anchor already. So since you're putting her on the anchor, and no, clearly sha'carri is there, and I'm expecting her to be on anchor, so I'm assuming that they're just going to put Gabby, the next best straight, which are the only other straight, which is clearly the backstretch, right? So that's where I have Gabby. So again, Gabby has not been quote unquote running, fast over the 100 meters, but don't let that fool you, because her 200-meter times are spectacular so far this season. What was that? 21.61. Absolutely ridiculous. So with that said, I'm expecting her to come out firing, in that 100 meters on that back stretch. So again, Jamaica cannot put a 11-second sprinter, and by 11-second sprinter, let's look at the athletes that we have available, right? I'm talking about Shasha Forbes at 10.96 and Natasha Morrison at 10.98 on that back stretch. Neither of those athletes can go on the back stretch. That is where Shelly-Ann needs to be, so that in the event athletes are trying to gap us or get any advantage, it cannot happen. And the only person that could possibly give us, an advantage or maintain, a level where maybe we're ahead, is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and won't necessarily, quote unquote, lose out to, the challengers. So again, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce for me is squarely, slotted on that back stretch. And for me, hands down, I'm definitely putting, Shericka Jackson on the anchor leg as it stands right now. For America, they will have sha'carri Richardson on the anchor leg, and of course for Great Britain, they will have Nita, I'm assuming, on the anchor leg. Now it's going to be different clearly as it relates to, again, this anchor leg. It depends on where Jamaica is in the thick of things, because Jamaica will not be, I don't care how fast Shericka is running, it's not going to be easy to run down a 10.65 sprinter. Yes, is fantastic, but it's not going to be it's that easy to run down a 10.71 sprinter that's equally fast and also amazing at running relays. So if we are behind America coming off that bend, it's not going to be a good look. So I'm hoping again that they put Shelly squarely, on that back stretch, so we can have some kind of lead, heading into the final leg. And the final leg is, of course, Shericka Jackson up against, sha'carri Richardson. And in Great Britain's instance, it will be Nita. No, it's going to be a dogfight, at that particular point, to see who actually, takes the win from that. Now, for me, where I would put for who is going in first and who is going in third, I would put Natasha Morrison on first. She's a good starter as well. I've seen her on backstretch. She's done fantastic on the backstretch, as I've said multiple times. But I will not put her on the backstretch because of what's currently happening in the relay. So because of that, for me, she's squarely on the first leg. And of course, Shasha Forbes, seen her run a fantastic bend, so I'm gonna put her there as well. And that to me should be a very good team to land gold medal. Now, a lot of people are going to say, why not put Brianna into the first leg slot? I have no issues with that. Even slotting in Elaine Thompson here, I don't really have an issue with, slotting in, potential faster runners or runners that have done better on relays in the past. The issue is that just how Jamaica works things, where we just use the top 4 that finish that trial. So because they always do that, then that's pretty much how I'm structuring my team with the top 4. I'm being logical or real here. That's pretty much what they're going to do. I don't expect them to, change from what they typically do. Look at what they did with the men's 400 meters. Rasheen has been doing crazy things, and they still didn't change from their typical style. So I'm not expecting them to change this year as well. I'm expecting them to still stick with that top 4. So with that said, as much as Brianna has done fantastic on the first leg, as much as Elaine may be able to get back to a faster time, unfortunately, because they didn't finish in top 4. Well, Brianna finished in top 4, but once you slot in Shelly, then she gets shoved back down. With that said, they're not in top 4, so they, in my opinion, won't be in the finals. So with that said, coming up against Team USA, again, for me, when you look at averages in terms of speed, it's 10.85 to 0.9. That's not much of a big gap. So again, we have to utilize every athlete based on their strengths, and also get that practice in, that much practice in, because if we slip in this race, we are going to slide. And we're not only going to slide to potentially United States, we can potentially slide to Great Britain as well, because again, this team stays practiced. They stay practiced, so they are coming ready for sure, to hopefully again get something better than bronze medal. So we can't give any other team the opportunity to trump us, you know what I mean? And of course, again, look out for the outside shot of Ivory Coast doing something ridiculous in the relays. But anyway, Chakis, how do I sound? What do you think about these teams heading into the relays? America versus America versus United States, America versus Jamaica versus Great Britain versus the outside shot, Ivory Coast. Sound off in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.